Have you ever looked at professional wildlife photographers' photos and wondered how they get those beautiful blurry backgrounds? And maybe you've thought that you need incredibly expensive gear or highly technical skills to be able to achieve this. Well, in today's video, we're going to go over 4 easy tips that you can use to get beautiful blurry backgrounds with any camera. And these 4 easy tips center around controlling our depth of field, which is a measure of how much of our photo is deemed to be acceptably sharp. And through controlling our depth of field, we're going to be able to isolate our subject, ensuring only the subject is sharp and our backgrounds are beautifully blurry. So how can we control our depth of field? Well, the easiest way to do that is to make sure it's as small as possible, ensuring that only our subject is sharp. And then from here, we're going to be able to manipulate it and create beautiful blurry backgrounds. So how can we shrink our depth of field? So first we're going to look at aperture, which is a measure of how wide our lens is. Now, different lenses are going to vary in the amount that they're able to open. And this is measured in the f-stop of our lens, with a lower f-stop number meaning that the lens can open more widely. So the wider that your lens is open, and hence the lower the f-stop number, the smaller the depth of field will be. And this in turn is going to lead to a blurrier background. For example, if we compare these 2 photographs here, you'll see that the photograph shot at f6.3 has a nice blurry background, whereas our photograph shot at f22, the background is far more in focus. Now, to test this out for yourself, what you can do is you can set your lens to aperture priority mode, which is found on most cameras by changing the mode dial to the letter A. Now, the next thing that's going to control your depth of field is one that goes hand in hand with wildlife photography, and that is increasing your focal length. And by zooming in your lens, you're actually going to notice that you have 2 different effects on your background. The first is going to be by making your background look more blurry through decreasing the depth of field. And the next thing you're going to notice is an effect called compression. This is essentially an effect which looks like the background is closer to your subject. And as such, you're going to get a very different look to your photographs compared to if you cropped a wide-angle lens to the same field of view. So if you want a blurry background, my advice here is to use a longer focal length, particularly if you've got a slower lens, for example, one which only opens to f8. Now, another thing that's going to help decrease your depth of field is getting closer to your subject. This can be quite difficult when you're first starting out in wildlife photography and haven't quite learned animal behavior yet. So a great option for this is to visit one of your local parks. These are going to be areas where wildlife is generally more accustomed to you, meaning that it's a very easy place for you to learn animal behavior as well as trying to improve your technical skills. So now we've decreased our depth of field, how can we use this to make an even blurrier background? Well, the best thing that we can do is to make sure our background is as far away from our subject as possible, because this in turn means that the background is going to be even more out of focus. And best of all, this is the easiest tip that we can apply because it's simply a case of looking for different angles. And we shouldn't just think about moving left or right. In fact, one of the best things that you can do is dropping down to eye level. By getting down to eye level with your subject, it means that the horizon is going to be far off in the distance, which is going to be infinitely better than pointing down at your subject where the background is going to be immediately behind it. And the other huge benefit of being down at eye level with your subject is it really gives a great sense of perspective to your photograph. But having a blurry background is only one step on your path to mastering photography. And if you want to make sure that you're getting tack sharp photos every time, make sure you click this video right here. And finally, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.